The latest rage for kids is driving parents and entire neighborhoods crazy. It's called a whistle tip, and it's welded inside a car's muffler to make the car screechingly loud for nearly a mile. Well, tomorrow night, Oakland residents will be complaining officially to City Hall officials. Crown 4's Mark Jones has the story live in Oakland this evening. Mark.
Well, Pam, city residents have been told this noise is perfectly legal, so tomorrow they hope to start the process to change the law.
Nearly every muffler shop in Oakland is installing Whistler tips. It's a piece of metal welded inside the exhaust pipes that makes the car audible for almost a mile.
Tell me about the whistles.
The whistles go woo!
Anybody that has it in their neighborhood is going to be totally driven crazy.
It sounds like what?
When you want to woo woo, it's that woo woo. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the flows. They didn't trip out the flow masters.
That decoration, man. It's just for decoration. That's it. And that's all, man. We do it for decoration.
You have it on your car?
Yeah, I got it on my car.
It was being installed on their car. Roxanne Brunn says the high-pitched tone, like the squeal of a BART train that doesn't stop, is keeping her awake at night. Police have told her it is legal.
They think it's a fad. It's going to go away. It's not going away.
And it's driving you nuts.
It's driving me nuts. I work at home. I can't concentrate when it goes on for hours.
Some neighbors are saying way too loud.
That's only in the morning. You're supposed to be up cooking breakfast or somebody, and so that's like an alarm clock. Woo woo!
Bub Rub and Little Sis were proud to show it off. Some Oakland residents will complain about the noisemakers Tuesday night at the city council meeting. Until the law changes, Marcelo Cabrera says he will keep installing them.
Would you want it in your neighborhood?
No, I won't. But that's what I want. And, my business is sell the pipes, so I have to sell whatever they want. Whatever people want, I'll sell it.
An AC Transit bus driver told us the noise is so loud you can't even hear the siren from an approaching ambulance. So far, they've caused no known accidents. In Oakland, Mark Jones, Crown 4.
Yes. Back again. Motown Philly back again with a little JN swing. Your favorite, your friendly neighborhood Grand Poobah and Coffee Break with JN. Not too hard, pause, not too soft. Well, hello. Guys, welcome back. Why do I look so short? Okay. Welcome back to Coffee Break with JN. Hello, I am your host, but your humble vessel, Jamar Nicholas, back again with that woo woo. That's just your alarm clock. Hello, guys. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to the 2025 opening of JNN, Jamar Nicholas Network programming. Yes, I feel a presence I've not sensed in a long time. Not since. Hello, America's Tom Zala. Let's get this going. Well, hello, Matt Waringo of the infamous Waringo Dynasty. If Matt is in the building, Suze can't be too far behind. Hello, Matt. Yo, Ronaldo, Stick of the Planet, LLC. Hello, my friend. I call Shogun. Hello, Shogun. Good to see you. Suze checks in. Hello, my fellow caffeines. You know who you are, caffeines. Friends and regulars, not decaf. Oh, coffee break from Cheyenne. Hello. Suze said, looking for Tabersnackles. I hope we have Tabersnackles in attendance. Yes. Y'all see Paul Pate? What up, Paul Pate? I'm so glad we made it. Good times. I miss producer Suze. Places, everyone. Smiles, everyone. Look, the beard's coming in nice, Paul. You know, I think I'm going to keep it this length. I even look more handsome than before. You guys, this isn't even my final form. Oh no, you better be careful out there. You know, I do have a 16 charisma with a +3 modifier. Billy Bob, hello. Billy Bob, hello. How are you? Did I miss anybody? So we were talking about Billy Bob. Happy New Year, my man. Good to see you. You know, I had to put on that classic commercial, that classic early. This is like early internet, early YouTube joint. That might even be like not a YouTube thing, but kind of like a, what was it, E-Bombs World or whatever. Those things that happened before YouTube. Video Bub Rub and Lil Sis. You know, that's that woo woo. Shogun asks, how's everyone doing? How is everyone doing? Sue says, I thought you was talking about leaf blowers. Pause. No, that's the whistle tips. That's that woo woo. Shogun says, I love having a car that is super cool. And when I say cool, I mean offensive to all living things. Oh no, Matt, you got. Our catalytic converter got stolen, so our car makes a sound too, and we don't have to do anything. Yo, man, that's real. We're in a very odd place in time. Crime is rampant. Stuff that you wouldn't think is happening. I remember, this is maybe 10, 15 years ago when maybe it's even a little later than that, when the Honda Fits came out, and I knew a couple of people that had the Honda Fits, and they're like smaller I don't know anything about cars, I could be completely wrong, but they have like a smaller profile, and the tires are smaller. And I had friends who had Honda Fits. They came out in the morning to get in their car to go to work. The whole shit was on blocks. All the tires was going. And apparently those were really popular with people. I think they fit on Camrys nice or something. I don't know. But that was a big chop shop to get. And then catalytic converters. Before that, it was your airbags they would cut them out of your steering wheel. Yeah, this isn't funny, but Fernando says, talking about shaving, I had to trim my beard so my CPAP would seal properly. There's this one comedian, I don't know his name. That's another bad thing about the new socials. Is like they show so many comedy clips and comedians, but like they never put their name on anything, or you got to dig for it. But this one guy has all these skits. He's like a heavyset guy. He's like laying in bed, like pillow talking with his girl. And he's like, you know, I feel so safe with you. I feel really vulnerable. And she's like, oh, that's so good. You can tell me anything. He's like, really? Can I share with you? Yeah. And then you hear all this rumbling, and he puts on his CPAP machine. And he's like, I need this to breathe. And she's like, that's funny. So yeah, shout out to my CPAPers out there. Yo, this is the year of not even self-care, of getting yourself to the doctors, yo. We've been talking about hashtag self-care for a long time, but this is the year where you're actually going to go get your diagnostics. I implore all of my Gen Xers, all my gray beards out here, or my like Cruella DeVille ladies with the stripe of white hair, go get your shit checked out. Yo, Miguel, what up? That's that woo woo. Good to see you, my man. That's right, Bill. The whistle goes woo woo. I love it. Oh yeah, Billy Bob goes back to the 70s. I remember when people stole car radios. No, actually, that was maybe the late 80s, 90s, when people started getting those new radios that either had the whole kachunker, like you could pull the whole John out, pause. And then after that, you got the little faceplate. Because remember, you would go to the club or you go to the go to your boy's apartment or whatever. You're like, hold on. You got to like take all this stuff out of your dashboard, and you would actually walk out of your car with your radio, and it had a little handle like a lunchbox. But then later they had the plates, like the face plates, and you could just take the face off, like Nick Cage, and put that in your pocket and go up to your man's apartment in the projects. And then around there, after the club, the wheel lock, and the wheel locks came back when people started watching TikToks. So they show you how to steal Kias. They started telling people to go get old school the clubs to put on your Kias. So yeah, a long history of getting stuff stolen out of your car. They bust your windows out for your CD. Yo, I heard you like CDs. For your CD book. I kept telling one of my boys, stop leaving your CD book on the seat. Nah, man, nothing but burns in there. But they still broke your window. Yo, Chris Lopez, hello. Well, hello. I think I missed something. Oh, Chris says, working overtime tonight, but we'll stay as long as I can. Good, you're a good person. Oh, yeah, let's see some other super. Yeah, hold on, I got some new Johns. I see a whole bunch of superstars up in the chat. Who did I just see? Yo, it may be January, but it's always July when Julie and Lytle's in the building. What up, July? Good to see you. Then I saw, who else is, Spectac. What up, Spectac? Happy New Year. Bill O'Donnell says, nasal pillow with the CPAP for life. Sue says, my CPAP sexy as hell, yo. Hey. Hey, yo, we're old. It's okay. You rock that. I'm sure you get really good sleep, right? Sue says, finally made eye appointments after 5 years. Yeah. You know, I shout out to all. Okay, yo, this is our first 1s and 2s of the year. You know 1s and 2s, you guys. Get ready. Get your keyboards ready. The 1s and 2s are where that's you, dear viewer, get to interact with me by typing 1 or 2 on your device when I ask you a question. For all my glasses wearers out in the building, if your eyeglass subscription is embarrassingly out of date, put a 1 in the chat. For all my eyeglass wearers, if you are wearing cheaters or what do you call them, those like drugstore readers, put a 2 in the chat. Let's see what we come up with. Yeah, there it is. Come on. Embarrassingly out of date. America's Tom Zoller, what up, Tom Zoller, says, I'm an artist. I get the eyes checked every year, as you should. Bob, what up, Bob? Bob, we had a great time with you. Sue's put in, is that your prescription for your cheaters? -1. We had a great time on the pop culture podcast last night with my man Bob and Mike Gold. Bob, thank you so much for having me on. Had a great time. I hope that was good for your constituents. I hope that I'm engaging, at the very least, handsome. So thank you so much for that. I'd love to come back if you have me. Yo, you know my man ID. Shout out to my boy ID. Stay safe out there. ID says, I tried to get the Meta Ray-Bans. They sent my prescription. It was too massive. More fire. Massive. Oh wow, for real? I do have some. This is like one of my weird like bucket list things. This is really stupid because people, you know, drive drive Lamborghinis. Lamborghinis. I do not have a Lamborghini. Shout out to Ty Lopez. That was my favorite shit back when they had those YouTube commercials where the guy's like, "You know how I got so rich? You know how I got my Lamborghini? You see all these books? I read these books on Lamborghini," and then you found out that it was all a scam. But a really old check box for me was I wanted a pair of Ray Bans. And if you remember way back, like before everybody had these kind of like square Buddy Holly throwback glasses, they weren't cool. I mean, I think they were always cool, but you couldn't just go into a eye place and get them, especially in the '90s and the late '90s and the aughts. Everybody had those like Lara Croft glasses, or like all thin, and I wanted these like kind of boxy frames. And I was like, "Yo, I want a pair of Ray Bans," and you couldn't find Ray Bans anywhere. So finally, after a long time, I finally got my Ray Bans, and these things are so old now. And they have a script in them. And if you ever see me out in the world and I got on my Keep It Cools, you know that my prescription sunglasses, and one of the best modern updates of technology are prescription sunglasses. Thank you, Bob. Had a great time. Yes, Bill, Bob is amazing. Can't draw my echolocation. Reynaldo says just got new specs. Teamsters and shorts is noise. Very good. Shogun says mine are pretty dang up to date. That's what's up. Billy Bob says I went last year, but my scripts have barely changed, so I never got new ones. Good for you. Good for you. Taking care of yourself, drinking water. Oh, Bill says 2 by way of the wife. You wearing your cheaters. I don't really understand how cheaters work. I mean, it's like they're just like you're wearing just magnifying glasses on your face. Miguel, what up, Miguel? 0. You don't wear glasses? Oh my man. Shogun got them zennies. I've heard of them. What are those? Are those kind of like, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, are those kind of like was it Ruby Parkers? That's not the name of those glasses. Kind of like they're like Tom's. They're like Tom's shoes, not Tom Zoller shoes, but Tom the brand shoes, where every time you bought a pair of glasses, they gave a pair of glasses to like a little kid or something like that. Yeah, Suze, hope all the caffeines out in LA are safe. It goes without saying. I'm sure people out who are in harm's way are not watching Coffee Break. Please find shelter and please be safe out there. The world is crazy. May I be but a beacon in the darkness for you tonight, if you are watching. Yo, first sip of the night. And I try to keep this light, you guys. This isn't the sad hour. This is the high spirits hour. Let's get a sipper for all our buddies in California. We'll rebuild. We're gonna make it. Robert, thank you. You're safe. I'm glad you're safe, brother. It's crazy out there. Good to see you too, and Happy New Year. Yes. What did I say? Ruby Bridges, Warby Parker. Yes. Warby Parker. Yes. You knew where I was going with that. Ruby Quartz. So, all right, hold on. Jim Lujan. What up, Jim Lujan? Shout out for one of my favorite animators, Jim Lujan. And Robert Alvarez, if you don't know the work of my buddy Jim Lujan, you gotta get up on that. Jim says, Jamar, my buddy, listening to you in the shower. Is that creepy? Billy Buck cracks me up. So for all of you Cyclops fans, and like the X-Men have been on a kind of a new hot streak because of the Deadpool movie and also because of X-Men 97. And people were all like, yo, Cyclops is a boss finally. They saw him doing power stunts. Like, Marvel superheroes role playing game. He was owning it. So I know there's some people who are like classic Cyclops, where he kind of like, I think he's got like two buttons on the sides of his visors, or maybe two or one on each, and he goes like this to activate it. And for you old school dorks, he's got a trigger in his thumb, and he can kind of like do some thumb motion pause and make the jaws go. Or can he just do it at will? What do you guys know? What do you know about that? I'm showering with you in my heart. I was on my buddy Shannon Newby, if you saw that. I've been doing a lot of interviews lately. My latest one was with Bob, what was it, last night, 2 nights ago? And I did an interview with my buddy Shannon, who I went to high school with, Kappa Stand Up. I've told you guys all repeatedly that I was at the High School of Creative Performing Arts in this golden age in the 80s when all of these famous people were there. Well, we were all kids. They weren't famous yet. We were just kids, like Boys to Men. I went to school with them, and the Roots, and a bunch of famous classical musicians and entertainers and blah, blah, blah. And I'm now happy to report that I am also one of those famous people. So, but why did I say that? I was going somewhere with that. Oh, so I was talking to Shannon, who's a filmmaker, and he's a great old friend of mine. And he had asked me what my first comic book was. Not really like the first thing you remember, but like that one issue that kind of like the light switch went off for you. And you were like, yo, I need more of these. Or maybe it's the first one that you didn't steal from your brother. Or maybe it was the first one that you bought with your own money. And that issue was usually burned into your brain. Yes, I've told you guys these stories 1,000 times. I don't think people really listen to me. Yes. I went to school back when there were 5 of them. Now there's 3 of them, but there used to be 5. And before they got signed, the one guy was like, you know what, later for you guys, I'm going solo. And they're like, okay. And then they got signed. Yes, I do have lore. So my first comic book that I remember like going, I need to not destroy this and keep it, was X-Men 205. And I think that's the Sienkiewicz cover. It's all like purple and orange and blue, and Wolverine is like laying on his back with all these tubes in him. And I think the inside is like some kind of like one-off issue with Wolverine and Katie Power from Power Pack in a snowstorm. But I had read comics before that, and I also was a big Spider-Man guy. But all of the comics I used to read, I used to get from the corner store, the Poppy store, like they say in Philly now, where they would take comics and rip the covers off so they can send those back to get money back from the distributor. And they'll put them in a cellophane bag for like a quarter. And there was a lot of Spider-Man, maybe a Green Lantern in there. And I never knew what the covers looked like because they never had covers. So what about you? Anybody in the chat for my comic book nerds? What was the very first comic book that kind of like made your dopamine squirt? Pause. Put it in the chat. And guys, thanks for showing up. I actually have some content tonight, but I was kind of going through stuff, and I saw that woo woo video, and I was like, I gotta put that back on there. So yeah, nobody's got any comic books to share. All you nerds in here, you gonna leave me hanging? All right, I'll give you guys a couple more minutes. So yeah, also on top of all of this, Happy New Year. I kind of started off strong by talking about taking care of yourself. If you guys follow me on Facebook, because that's where I do a lot of my posting, if I do post. Tom, you don't know it off the top of your head. I gotta look it up. It's Superman 200 something. what year is that? Is that like the superpowers toys years? Is that like the mid '80s? Paul Pate, your first comic was Batman Returns. Wow, like the floppies, right? 290. Wow. Okay. Bill says DC Comics presents Firestorm with the JGL cover. Okay. There's a lot of DC guys in here. Robert says the first comic book I recall getting was a Lone Ranger comic that I stole from my mother's dentist office. You got caught. Oh man, you got the thrill of the chase. Did you win? That's a high. Stealing something and then you get caught and then that was it. You were hooked. That was in 1955. I love it. TZ is co-signing on Bill's Firestorm. I know Tom Zoller's a big Firestorm fan. That's right, comic crimes. Dun dun. And Matt says, I don't remember my first comic, but the first one I bought for myself was Marvel Team Up 49. Still love that book. What was happening in that issue? TZ says the Superman issue was 1975. I've been reading for a very long time. Yes. Paul Pate, which one did you say? Batman. Oh, okay. Paul Pate said it was the first one that got me inspired. Yes. Yeah, TZ. You know, us super smart geniuses, we get taught early. I love it. So when I was talking to Shannon, I was like, "Oh, X-Men 205," and then on the interview, like on the overlay, he put a issue of it, and I was like, "Wow, very striking." So I don't even know who the artist was. I think in that early 200 run, they were like jumping around with people. But I want to say that I started really getting into X-Men. I was an X-Men kid. The Trial of Magneto, but I went back and found those later. But I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Spider-Man. People ask me that once in a while. I was like, I'm an old school Peter Parker, even though Miles Morales is cool. I'm very, very. That movie was amazing. The first one was super dope. And when I got the art book, I think I shed a tear. It was really strong. But I'm a Peter Parker guy. Shogun says, I don't remember the first comics I bought. It must have been in the early 90s. I recall a road trip with a bunch of random Marvel titles. Yeah, that was also when you went into a store. It was just kind of the spinner rack and whatever was there. There's also a thrill to that. Like, it was really hard to collect stuff if you were getting comics out of the 7-Eleven. Because either it was there or it wasn't, and you never saw the same thing twice. Ronaldo says, I don't recall my first, but the one of the first I collected was G.I. Joe Special Missions #2 with my man Roadblock. Yes, I'm a giant G.I. Joe nerd. I think that X-Men was the first one when I think I discovered the comic book store by then. But I was walking up the street to the 7-Eleven. No, it was like a Sunoco gas station that had a spinner rack. And I think it was G.I. Joe. For any G.I. Joe nerds, which was the cover? And this is one of my favorite meta things of all time in video games and anything else, where it's a bunch of Cobra dudes in a war room watching a giant monitor with the G.I. Joes on it, and they're all like pointing at it. I feel like that was like 9 or something. I don't remember. But G.I. Joe is my love. Oh, and this Marvel team up, Iron Man and Spidey fought the Wraith, and of course each other. Chris says, my brother started me on comics. He had stuff like Cheech Wizard. Yeah, shout out to Vaughn Bode. And to Marvel supervillain team-ups. So, just as a quick tip, pause. There's a very old episode of Pencil to Pencil. It may be on our Facebook page because there was a point where we had a lot of Facebook things before we went over to YouTube. And Mark Bode was on it, and Mark is the son of Vaughn Bode. And Mark's a old friend of mine through a lot of very weird channels. And the Cheech Wizard is big and all that stuff. Cobalt is big and it's so underground, but Mark's a great guy. Good pick. ID says DC Who's Who was some of the earliest I was into. Who's Who, the official handbook of the Marvel Universe. I wasn't a DC dude, but the Who's Who books, you just like anything that had stats in it, or you could argue in the playground about who's stronger than who. Those things were really important resources. Shogun says, I want to say it was just a stack from Costco. Could have been. Billy Bob says the art books for both movies are so inspiring. Yeah, I have both of them over here. I'll readily admit I didn't even open the second one, and they're not the same size either. That's weird. So I have that one. Another one of my buddies is a giant art of collector. Almost anything that was an animated feature, she has the art of books. I don't have a lot of those, but I do have Spider-Verse, or whatever the first Spider one was called, Spider-Verse, and the new Ninja Turtles movie. I thought it was really cool how like off model everything was drawn. Things are drawn crooked on purpose. It's really smart. Billy Bob says, inspiring. I had the first one pre-ordered and it got back ordered for 3 months. Yeah, I remember it was hard to find. That was during the pandemic, wasn't it? Oh, they're showing up. You know what? I had to pass on that. I was really excited about it, but I was like, I have no place to put that thing. Is it glorious, Tom? Pause. Robert, of course, did sequence directing on the G.I. Joe animated series. Do you have any cells from any of that? And Robert was a fantastic guest on Pencil to Pencil. Robert, we have to have you back this year. Let's make that happen. Paul Smith. Jim Lujan says, the comic book that got me interested was an X-Men with Paul Smith. Yeah. Angel gets kidnapped by the Morlocks in the abandoned subways under New York. Yes, I'm out of the shower. You're in your comic book cave now, dripping wet, going through the back issues. Sue says, I just remember when I got to buy comics, which was rare, I always bought the Justice League because it had Wonder Woman in it, but it had a lot of superheroes in it. Yeah, I wonder if there are people who like team books just because there are more characters in it. Oh, and Cartoons Magazine, Rat Fink. Oh, about the size, pause. That threw me off too. I think there's less content in it too, but I think that's because the rest of the art is probably for the next movie. And probably there were more concept sketches in the first book because there was more concepting to do. They kind of had a look by the time the first movie came out, so it was probably more directed towards what was actually in the feature. Super Friends, yeah. TZ says, Jamar, it's pretty awesome. The paper is interesting. It's better than, but equivalent to newsprint as it should be, yes. Well, yeah, because it was supposed to have like a newsprinting feel. Heard, I got you. That's a lot of stuff. So, all right, before we run out of time, and it's funny how we always get on some sort of odd tangent. I'm so happy that you guys are here with me tonight. At the end of last year, I was starting to feel like, man, I do a lot. You know, when people say kind of in passing, Jamar, you do a lot. We all do a lot. You do a lot. Whatever it is you do, I'm sure it's a lot. But a lot of the stuff I do, you kind of see my face on your video scope. So, you know, besides this, we have Pencil to Pencil. We also have all of the things on my Patreon. And while I'm at it, become a patron of mine today, why don't you? So I do every Monday, if I can remember, I do a 10 to 15 minute affirmation video that I post. Then every other week we do It Ain't Hard to Tell with Mike Hawthorne and myself. You know Bodega Voltron, the savior of our universe. I do that. I do pencil to pencil. I do coffee break. I have other video things that I have on my Patreon. And kind of towards the end of the year, also I was touring, and I was just kind of like, you guys, what am I doing? And somebody said to me, especially going through this new year, JM, we need you. You can't stop now. So then I was like, what? All right, maybe you're right. Maybe I need to do more. What is wrong with me? But I was feeling kind of like beat up by the end of last year. And I made me think like, yo, when are we coming back? Am I going to do this? Am I going to change things? Then I got a colonoscopy. So on New Year's Eve, I got a colonoscopy. I'm happy to report no notes, which I'm very excited about. And then I went on Facebook and told everybody and their mother to go get a colonoscopy. If I have any type of platform, especially at our age, I'm just like, yo, just go do it. It was like mad easy. I had a really great nap. Go do it. And then, it started to make me think, well, shit. No pun intended. I have more work to do. So here I am. And I promise, if you're getting sick of me, you're not even at the beginning. You're going to be so sick of me because I'm just going to keep hitting y'all. Doing a lot. Yo, Nakota. I expect nothing less from the Baroness. The Baroness of the P and Dubs has just entered the chat. Ka-chunk. Let's do another sip. Sip of the evening for Nakota Fox. Nakota, what's going on? Did they give you the Michael Jackson cocktail for the colonoscopy? Yeah, it was delightful. That's my Matt Hardy. Delightful. I was complaining about Ozempic. I was like talking at the I said talking at the nurses. And I was like, yeah, I can't even get the Ozempic because all the celebrities took it. Like, I'm diabetic. I'm like, yo, where's my Next thing I know, somebody's like, Mr. Nicholas, it's over. Wake up. I'm like, what? What? It's over. Yo, I had the greatest nap. It was amazing. Yo, Dom, good to see you. Happy New Year, my man. Happy New Year. Yo, Carlos, cheer. Happy New Year, bro. Good to see you. Robert just said the best part of a colonoscopy, the best part of waking up is a colonoscopy in your cup. Is the happy juice they give to put you to sleep. Man, Robert, I never slept so well. I was talking about that on my Facebook, and somebody was like, I had such a good nap. I asked the nurse if can I come back again next year. Hey, yo. Shogun says, Shamar is the most doing person in existence. You're sweet. Yo. Matt says, the look on the nurses' faces when I asked what the sit-in spray spell in the room was for just before they knocked me out still makes me chuckle. That's so funny. CZ says, I came out of anesthesia and asked where all the hot dirt, where the ladies at? Tom, you're charming even when you're asleep. Nakota says, when I had one a few years ago, the first thing I said when I woke up was, oh, that's why people do drugs. Nurses gave me a look. Oh, that's fantastic. So yeah, I mean, this is literally Gen X hour where we talk about this stuff, right? It's like, and this is, it's serious. Colon cancer is real. I know some people that checked out from it, and like, didn't Chadwick Boseman die from colon cancer? Nobody knew it. Like, yo, if you could avoid that shit by just like, drinking some milkshake and getting put to sleep for a second, just go do it, please. And one of my good buddies, There they are. The tile wasn't working, but they found them. What a great prank. Oh, we found these while we were like, oh, my extra sock. I was looking for that. Yeah, Billy Bob. I don't know how old you are, but um, if you are of that age or coming up on that age, just go do it and just get it knocked out. Especially if you're having like drama, like don't just not do anything about it. There it was. I was looking all over for that. I can't remember who I was. I think it was K Dub or somebody. I was, and I luckily you guys haven't had to listen to me talk about this for 2 weeks long already. I kind of stopped talking about it. I was like, yeah, man. They put me to sleep, and then he put a picture of the intro to DuckTales where they're going down the stairs with the lanterns. Spaceships, rockets, aeroplanes. It's a duck. It's a duckberg. So yeah, man, go get that shit done. I don't want to lose any of you guys over some dumb shit you could have got prevented. So yes. So anyway, 2025 is the year we're going to get our stuff together. And also, if people are like, yo, TMI, no TMI, this is exactly how we combat this. We put it out into the world. It's not goony to talk about this stuff. Right? Because, and the other thing is like people like, everybody's really sad and putting the little care hearts when somebody's like, oh, you guys, I got cancer. This sucks. We're fighting for it. We're pulling for you. Do it early. Just get it checked out if you can early. Sue says they have found something every time I've had a colonoscopy. Wow. If it's not removed when it's small like mine was, it will mostly turn into something. See, and we can't not have Sue's around. On that note, you guys, you know what time it is. Let's get those elbows ready. Pause. All right, you ready, Sue? Guys, I haven't even started this coffee. It's so hot, I can't. I put my hand upon your hip, then I dip, you dip, we dip. That was a good one. This is like Mount Rushmore. Matt, Susan, Brad Tree, thank you. Sue's Pose, thank you. Hello. Yes, Carlos, it's weird to not inform people about better health, right? That's weird. Yo, Dom says hip dip business was trending like crazy a few months ago on TikTok with the new right? And you saw it here first. I put my hand up on your hip. Then I dip, you dip, we dip. We was doing that years back. Yo, yeah. Carlos says, I see that, Ember. All right. Now, guys, I got to do my product placement. Ember, if you guys are watching, I need that sponsorship. I got this mug as a Christmas gift like 2 or 3 years ago. And I used it kind of a little bit because I don't know, just remember even like 5 years ago, you know how the Wi-Fi wasn't always working, the Bluetooth ain't really hit right. And I would like use it and it would work and then it would stop and then it would disconnect. So what this is for you guys who don't know is this is a digital heated coffee mug. So if you see there's like a sensor on the bottom and then I have this saucer that's plugged in that it rests on. And it's also on my phone. So I think I shared this with some of y'all already. And right, hold on, let me open the app. So this is telling me actually tells me exactly how much is in this mug in the temperature. And I can like even scale it up and make it hotter or colder. So this is like so hot I can't drink it. So Ronaldo said, "Gotta turn your phone off so your coffee can cool." That you thought the screen was froze. Good Sue's post, yes. Nakota says it's okay to not want people to die from preventable illness. Thank you. And I think if we can do that for each other, thank you. Yo, tell Siri to turn my coffee down. So fancy. Well, this is like my winter mug because this is making it work for me, and I got to kind of power through the rest of this coffee because I'm just conversating. Let me get this off the screen. So, all right, we have a couple minutes left. So I wanted to talk about. Oh man, I had to reset my computer. Oh my, what's going? Hold on a second. I've been kind of plotting a course for my 2025. So every year is an adventure. I'm very fortunate to say that I've been doing a lot of really cool stuff over the last couple of years. You know, even before the scholastic stuff, you guys know, you see me trying to ascend, trying to do like, you know, high level stuff. And now there's more doors have opened with the success of my books, and that's really cool. Oh yeah, we'll do a station ID. So one thing I think a lot about, and we talked about it if Bob's still here last night. Was it last night? I'm sorry. It was on Tuesday about kind of like what got you into reading as a kid, because I want to assume all of my smarty pants friends in this room were readers. And I said, you know, I spent a lot of time at the library, and when I discovered choose your own adventure books, that kind of changed everything with me. And there was a point where I, which wasn't too long ago, I went to eBay and tried to see if I could buy all of the Choose Your Own Adventure books up cheap. And I got a really big lot of them. There's a lot of Choose Your Own Adventure books. And the funny thing about it was I got the books. And then I was like, what am I doing with all these books? So if any of you guys have history, oh wow, I don't know if you guys can see this. Hold on, let's see if I can figurize this. I think these are the classic. Oh yeah, these are the good ones. These are the classic books. The Cave of Time, Journey Under the Sea. Oh, this is Space of the Mystery of Chimney Rock. And some of these were like really creepy books. Sometimes they were scary. Inside UFO 5440, I remember that one. Underground Kingdom. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm going back in time. Like, right, these are like I don't know, these are like late 70s, early 80s books. I don't know how well you can see these. And they're still making these. But I think Deadwood City was spooky. I didn't get too far in this one. And if you somehow got through your childhood without ever reading a Choose Your Own Adventure book, the idea is of thus, you are a character in the story. And it's you. They don't give you a name or anything. It's just you. And I remember in Deadwood City, like you and a bunch of teenagers and an adult were going to go check out this ghost town. And then I remember being in the back of somebody's Jeep and you're driving down this ridge and all of these, this is really not apropos anymore. These ghost Indians show up and start shooting arrows into the air. And I remember like I turned to page 46 and just died because I was riddled with arrows. Not really great endings. Okay, you may still have some of those. The TSR ones, yes. Um, and Endless Quest books. Yes, I remember the. Dakota's getting to it. Sometimes I'll go back and reread books I read as a kid, and I'm like, "What adult let me read these?" Some of them were really jacked up. So, but I remember in one of these, yeah, they like ended quickly. So my favorite one, and this kind of probably saved my life at some point. It was one of these books where I was like some sort of like Arctic explorer, and I got like cut off from the rest of my group. And it says that you're very tired and you're cold. And do you want to cover yourself up with your blankets and take a nap? And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. Then I turned to the page 47 and it was like, you have died of hypothermia. Don't ever go to sleep in a snowstorm. You need to keep yourself awake. Dom says, so like Telltale games in the earliest form? Yes. This is like the OG version of all that stuff. This is what we grew up on. And there were so many of these, you could collect them or trade them with your friends. And they're really thin paperbacks, but you can't even read them front to back because they're so abruptly put together. And if you try to go to the end, there is no end. Like the last page in the book is not the end of the story. And I remember one of them had a middle that you could only get to if you cheated. Like Terror Island. This sounds like something you don't want to be messing with. So I was going to ask you guys, what was your first series of books when you were a kid? Duke, what up, Duke? Yo, Joe. Duke says all endings are death and choose your adventure. You chose death. The only difference is how brilliant. Yes, thank you. This is almost like a Gen X version of like those. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are? Books. These things were brutal. I don't think there were any happy endings. It's kind of like zombie movies. Sue says, well, we did go to the library. We had to drag all the way into Asheville, 40 minutes away. I would check out Hardy Boys books. So check this out. What did I do with it? I'm always looking into new stuff, interesting stuff. And I picked this up at the dollar store. This is a Hardy Boys kind of like chapter book. It's very thinly illustrated. There's some spot art in it, but it's like a little chapter book. And like, yo, shout out to Dollar Tree. I was enjoying this. I think there's something really special about things like this. TZ says either choose your owns or the pocketbook Star Trek ones, huh? Okay. Dom says Wimpy Kid was my era. Yes. Carlos says Joe and I both read a bunch of those. Do you have any of these? They're really creepy. Oh, not the Hardy Boys, the Choose Your Own Adventure books. I should have kept some of them. Duke says, I love Choose Your Own Adventure, but also Gary Sparrows. Everybody, Gary Sparrows. Hardy Boys and a little later Fear Street. I don't know about Fear Street. And Goosebumps was like not even around when I was a kid. And I was just, when Goosebumps came out, and shout out to R.L. Stein. When I'm up at Scholastic headquarters, they call him Bob. Oh, Bob's here. I'm like, who's Bob? Oh shit, R.L. Stein's here. Hi, Bob. I haven't met Bob yet, but I hear he's a nice guy. Gary Sparrows. Dragon Riders of Pern. Wow. How about, and for my fantasy people, how about the R.A. Salvatore books? I love the Drizzt series. And I kind of got into those way late. I think, Carlos, didn't you let me borrow some Drizzt books, or did I give you some Drizzt books? I think there was a period where one of my cousins was like one of my D&D people back when we were growing up, and he read all the Dragonlance books, all the Drizzt Salvatore books, all those things. But yeah, there's something special about a series. Dakota says, I was obsessed with Girl Talk because it had a native girl in it. It was more or less just a kid doing kid thing. Isn't that the best? When it's just a kid doing kid stuff and they just happen to be living their lives. Billy Buff says, I remember reading a lot of Fancy Nancy when I was a kid. I have no idea what that is, but I'm interested. You know about the Driz. Hitchhiker's Guide, yes. Judy Blume, yes. I think we all read Judy Blume. Duke says, I read a bunch of the Driz books. I also have an almost complete collection of Discworld. Terry Pratchett in the building. Yes, I love it. Look at all you readers. I love it. And it kind of like goes into what I'm trying to do with this Leon stuff, because it's like everybody loves series. Like Dogman is a series. Captain Underpants was a series. Harry Potter is a series. And I think there's just something really cool about staying in a world as long as you can. Ooh, The Outsiders. Stay Gold, Pony Boy. Rumblefish. Shogun says, I read Hardy Boys and a lot of inappropriate books for my age range at the time, like Mac Bolan and crap. Also the Eddings books. Man, I love readers. And you know, when people want to tell you that there's nobody reading anymore, I don't believe that. But I almost want to start a Choose Your Own Adventure book club. I think we should all start picking some of those up and just seeing what kind of trouble we could get into. But also one series that's really big right now is I Survived. That's a Scholastic series, right? It's almost like those shows on cable where it's like I almost died or whatever those were called. I spent a summer watching those, and I couldn't stop. And they all have what I call, I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. I call it frama or fake drama. And fake drama is when they hype something up right before a commercial, and then when the commercial is over and goes back, nothing ever really resolves itself. They just kind of want to make you stay there. Dom says, I Survived was big for me, yes. Get it afraid. Oh my gosh. Nakota says, I read a lot of the time books for Star Wars. Oh, Timothy Zahn books as a teen. The wildest book I ever read was a Star Trek, TNG, and X-Men crossover. That sounds like slash fiction. Joe says from the other room, the Incarnations of Immortality series by Piers Anthony. Yo, y'all be reading up in here. Oh, what you can read or something? That's crazy. So for all of you guys that have kids, do you think that the stuff your kids read is better or worse than what we read when we were kids? Sue says, my niece, who is 24, her goal is to read 32 books this year. There's some app you can rate and keep track of all the books you've read. Oh, I've seen that. I think some of the caffeines do that. I mean, I know they have that for video games. I think it's called like backloggery, where you can kind of like put into a registry all the games you're beating and how far you got into it. That's fantastic. Oh, Feist. Now, I'll say that I don't read as much as I used to. And I was on a big kind of like weirdo sci-fi kick. Like I had a big Halo phase and I read all the Halo books. And then when all the Halo universe stuff came out, I wasn't interested anymore. But for a minute, I was really into Halo. But I kind of wanted to reread the R.A. Salvatore books. So I guess you're not reading Dogman, huh? But yeah, this was fun, guys. It was kind of like an awkward stop, but I drank down this coffee, and we're already over, so I should do what I do. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. This is the year to take care of your stuff. Check your undercarriage. If your check engine light is on, please go get that looked at. If you got that kind of thing, it's kind of weird, go get that checked out. Don't ask your buddy, like, go to the doctor. Yeah, like they kind of exploded, right? And I was kind of, it got too much. Hey, don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. I still got to do my IDs. Don't go. I'm not finished. Hold on, but thanks. All right, you guys. Let's do some stuff real quick. You may recall that I stay busy, right? We stay busy up in here. I do a lot. You all do a lot. We do a lot. Oh, everybody's still talking. A lot of books. Awesome. That I do a lot. You may also know that this is weird. I am the chapter chair of the Philadelphia chapter of the National Cartoonist Society. There's some of the cartoonists in good standing in the chapter. There's me in the chair. Get it? All those people behind us, master cartoonists. I see Dave Blazek. There's Brad Geiger, Terry Laban, Pat Higgins, Rich Green. That's just some of them. That's not even all of them. That's a couple of them. And the reason I bring that up is because now it just got announced, we are in open submissions for the Reuben Division Awards for the Reubens for this year as the National Cartoonist Society board member in good standing. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the Reuben Awards. The Reubens are open to anyone. You do not have to be a member of the National Cartoon Society. Please submit your work. You can check all that out at nationalcartoonist.com. The jury will begin in March, and then in August, the winners will be announced at the 79th Reuben Awards in Boston, Massachusetts. The reason I'm talking about this on Coffee Break is because I want everybody to have a moment to go and submit. This is one of those things where people are like, oh, so-and-so won, so-and-so won. Yeah, because you ain't in it. So this is not the year of griping about stuff. This is a year of action. So go do that. And also, while you're at it, hey, remember I have a book that just came out, Leon, Worst Friends Forever. I think it's tracking well. I think it's doing well. I will implore you to please go to Amazon and leave a review. I have five things on there, and they're not even reviews. They're just kind of like, I bought it. Please leave a review, even if you did not get it from Amazon. It helps my algorithm. And I got to be honest, I haven't heard a lot about this book. I'm very proud of this book, but it's just, I think it's going through the sophomore slump, meaning that people are like, cool, you did another one. But yeah, I need the same energy that you gave to Extraordinary here. All right. Dom says, my book's Kickstarter starts on the 15th. Can I still submit? Dom, the submissions for this are for things that were published in the year of 2024. So if your thing isn't out yet, then you can submit it next year. All right. So don't be distracted by the stuff this year, but be ready for next year. Yeah, that's not why they did that. So yes. So please, I implore you, get out there, get the word out about Leon. I'm currently working on the next book in my series. I'll call it Leon 3. The name is to be announced. But you guys have gotten us so far already. Thank you for all your support. It doesn't stop here. Getting the book out into the world is just part of it. The next part is sustaining it. So please go out, give it to your peoples, give it to your mans, and then give it to that kid down the street, because there's a lot of great themes in here, and I make books for kids to have nutritious content in their hands. Thank you. All right, you guys. I am going to wrap it up. Let's get that ID going. Thank you guys for hanging out with me again. For my Patreon supporters, you'll see this tomorrow as a Friday refill. And if you haven't joined my Patreon yet, this is the perfect time, you guys. Get on that. All right, let's go. You've been watching Coffee Break with JN with your boy JN. I go by many names. One of my oldest and favorite is your friendly neighborhood Grand Poobah of indie comics. John Cena. This is John Cena's retirement year. Johnny Five. Johnny Five, how does it feel? How do you feel? I feel alive. Philly Donahue and the oldie but goodie, John Luke Picard. There are 4 Johns. Oh, I'm wearing my overnight success shirt tonight as a big ironic joke. There's no such thing. What happened here tonight? You got to hang out with your caffeines. You know who you are, caffeines, friends and regulars, not decaf. Coffee Break with JN. And you watch me drink coffee and run my mouth. Now that I am now that I'm out of coffee, somebody wake up Hicks. See you in 2 weeks.